A very good day to you viewers and welcome to Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. My name is Nna Douglas. Issues in the News is a program that brings you topical issues in our nation. And today we'll be looking at two-pronged issues, talking about the budget padding that is causing controversy all around the country. There have been reactions and all that. And we'll also bring you the issue of insecurity in the country. Of course, just recently, just like what happened in 2014, where the Chibok girls were kidnapped. Another one has happened in Kuriga in Kaduna State, where over 280-something school children were also kidnapped. And today in the studio, I have a popular public affairs analyst and the person of the Secretary General, Arewa Youth for Peace and Security, and the person of Comrade SALIHU DANTATA. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anna.
Yes, a lot of talking points when it comes to the issue of budget padding. It has been a recurring a situation, and it happens on yearly basis. And the question is, how did we come, or what brought us to this issue of budget padding? Other countries are doing the same thing. Are bringing up budget on yearly basis, but we've not heard of budget padding. Why is Nigeria's case peculiar?
When self-centeredness, loss of integrity, as well of lacking selflessness are responsible factors. Because if you think you should pad the budget in order to satisfy your interests, maybe the interests of your constituents or senatorial district, that also is a lacking selflessness, because you swore to be patriotic, then to go by dictates of Constitution of Federal Republic, which abhors anything related to budget padding. Just like you have mentioned, we've had it since 1999. It was even more at prominence during the past Buhari administration, where he treated it with kid gloves. According to appropriation experts and economists, I think budget padding occur in the desperate move of maybe an arm of the government in connivance with another to see that certain budgetary allocations are made in favor of certain parts. It could be the constituency, or it could be the senatorial district, or even the state, or what have you. But with the present development of what happened, we can see where it was alleged that even some principal officers of the Senate had billions allocated to their own constituencies against other areas, where even it was alleged that each of the senators had 500 million added to their appropriation and budgetary allocation for their constituency projects, and also which ought not to be, which in its entirety is corruption and ought not to be, because it doesn't make a country to move forward.
Okay, but based on that 500 million allocations to high-ranking senators, it was an allegation that the Senate and also the person of Senator Enyina Baribe, they have come to debunk it, that it's not true, that he now gave clarifications on what will inspire Senate to allocate some money, that they don't collect the same thing based on the ranking of the senator, but it's not 500 million.
Well, there it means he's trying to say what Senator Agams from Cross River State collaborated, that is a lie. So if this kind of fighting among them, this one saying this in the morning, the other one saying it is not true in the afternoon, it means this 109 Senate are working at radiance. They are not working as a house, which ought not to be, because you can vividly recall Senator Agams from Cross River came to say that yes, something like allocation of 500 million naira existed. Then, as regards the allegation raised by Bauchi Senator Ningi, a non-governmental agency involved in budgetary appropriation matters, budget, came to say 3.7 trillion budget padding really existed. So I think what they need to do is to know what to say, when, and how to say it. Even the executive, they are not clean, because what I had expected the president to do by now is by instituting high-level committee where representations will be brought from Office of Attorney General of the Federation, EFCC, Police, Ministry of Budget and Planning, Finance, National Assembly, as well as other arms are responsible for that, to sit down and ascertain the veracity of these claims. If at the end of the day some external consultant could even be brought in, we have forensic experts to see whether the allegation of Abdul Nengi is true or not. But till date, we've not had. All the President and Commander-in-Chief did was, at the evening of that allegation, to invite the Senate President and other key principal officers of the Senate for a meeting, closed-door meeting. So whether he supported their position of suspension of Nengi or he cautioned them, no Nigerian knew. So it means they are now taking us for a ride. So in this country, I think we need to take a holistic approach to addressing these issues, because this is an issue that goes beyond arrest by anti-corrupt agencies like ICPC, FCC and the police, because we want the supremacy and independence of the entire National Assembly. So that is why now what is needed is interagency committee to ascertain the facts of this allegation.
So are you indirectly insinuating the fact that his suspension, the suspension of Abdul Nengi from Bauchi State was too hasty?
It was too hasty, because what the law even says, you ought not to suspend a lawmaker more than 14 days. Don't forget that he's representing his senatorial district, he's elected by his constituents. So any suspension that exceeds 14 days is null and void and illegal. So you can ask even constitutional lawyers. So I wonder where they got it, even though we know he's not the first to be suspended, even on issues of raising of alarm on budget padding, some House of Rep members in the lower chamber were suspended in the past. But at this time that we are advancing in our democracy, where you can look into certain issues immediately without going into suspension, I think now by suspension you are depriving people from a senatorial district that right of representation. If their interest is to be protected, who now goes to represent that interest or protect their interest? So this is where it is wrong.
A frontline non-governmental organization, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERA, has blamed or blamed the Senate for the suspension of Abdul Nengi, threatening to take the Senate to court for what they did to for the punishment given to a whistleblower, because they describe it as a whistleblower and all that. If you were Abdul Nengi, what will you be doing at this moment?
Well, he's already he's already doing something, because I think since his suspension, he has been moving his party, has taken position by even calling for resignation of the Senate President. Also, his state governor, Abdul Qadir Bala Mohammed, has passed a vote of no confidence on the Senate for that decision, then also has stood behind Abdul Nengi. So I think beyond himself as an individual senator, there are even forces to reckon with that have come to support him. You can see that BUGET has supported him, his state governor, the PDP, and other civil society organizations. So I think beyond him, this is an issue of national interest. It's just like this fight against corruption that we talk about. The issues are, we don't want to do things for societal gain. People want to do things for individual gain, which ought not to be. This issue that Abdul Nengi raised is issue of national importance, not for him alone, because this singular proclamation and awareness is making Nigerians to know certain things they don't know before. So a lot of things are unfolding. It's just like one of the stories I read of recent regarding Northern Traders Association that had to dear EFCC, Kano Zona Command, that arrested their cooking gas since last year, September, where they went and pleaded for plea bargain, and just maybe the EFCC thought it was the way they used to do things. The guys, they wrote letter to the president that called the EFCC to order copying the Attorney General, copying the Public Complaint Commission, National Human Rights Commission, by saying that the EFCC wants to make some auction of the cooking gas liquid, which ought not to be. Ordinarily, it is courts that are supposed to do so. So this issue of Abdul Nengi is also making people to, be aware and rise up to certain shortcomings. So I think what the Senate leadership need to do now is by calling Abdul Nengi back, let them sit down on round table, taking tea to discuss this issue, because it's an issue of national interest, which, if we don't take time, has succeeded in denting Nigeria's image before the international community.
Well, as a stakeholder in our nation's progress, do you think that what is happening right now at the National Assembly is in the interest of Nigerians?
what is happening now at the part of Abdul Ningi as a senator is in the interest of Nigerians. The decision the Senate has taken is against the interest of Nigerians because he raised the issue that was budget pardon. Other senatorial districts could be deprived, other adjoining parts of the country, geopolitical zone could be deprived. So, like they raised certain issues coming to health, coming to education and other parts, INEC and other things, the BUGET has realized they've even been shortchanged. And also for others, when you have an holistic look into it. So the decision of the Senate is anti-people, while that of Abdul Ningi is for the interest of the country.
Well, there's been a call for a unicameral legislature because a lot of people are saying that the bicameral legislature is very, very expensive to maintain and all that. Do you share in that notion?
You see, the unicameral, the bicameral, advantageously for equal representation, for all inclusiveness, the bicameral legislature fits and suits us. Look at the lower chamber, for instance. You have 360 House of Rep members. Look at Senate 109. It means every nook and cranny of the federation is represented. When you come to unicameral, certain people, especially minorities, will not have representation. Look at even the contest for presidency. If it is not by sheer providence, people like Jonathan wouldn't have become president, if not the movement of that doctrine of necessity, what have you, in the Senate by President Governor of Bauchi State, Abdulkadir Bala Mohammed. Where would have been Jonathan even when Yaradua was sick? All the gimmicks were already been in place to see that he's gone. So if we have a bicameral legislature, even the deprivation of minorities will not be there, because even the local government I'm coming from, I have somebody who is a senator representing me. Some other parts have House of Rep member. So if at this time you cannot produce a senator, you produce House of Rep, you cannot produce, at least you have somebody in the state assembly. So at the federal level, I think for now, even though the presidential system is what I had wanted us to talk on, it is the most expensive, the presidential system.
Okay, before we go on a break,
Yes.
there's this issue that a lot of Nigerians are talking about the issue of we have 109 senators and just one person came to raise issue and all that. Is it a slap on others, or are they saying that the remaining 108 in fact they are doing the right thing or something? A lot of people are saying Abdul Ningi, but the Senate has even come to say what Abdul Ningi did was not right. He was misinformed and all that. That he did not carry out his due diligence before coming out to air his views on that. But a lot of Nigerians are saying also giving it to Abdul Ningi for the courage and all that. Sir, do you think Abdul Ningi was right in that exposure?
In the first place, in the National Assembly there, you have the press gallery at the House of Reps and at the Senate. When a senator feels aggrieved, when he feels there are issues of national importance, that is why you have the Senate as well as House of Representative correspondence. He never did a press conference outside the confines of the National Assembly. You see, it's just like when aftermath of Federal Executive Council meeting every Wednesday, every minister that is designated and authorized goes to the press gallery there to address State House call, right? It is not an address that is made outside the presidential villa. So if it is binded by law there that you can speak, that was exactly what Abdul Ningi did. He made the revelation within the National Assembly. It was not wrong. I was an advisor to a rep member for 8 years. I know how the National Assembly works. So the issues are, some people are afraid because they believe they have touched certain areas they don't, and they are not supposed to touch. So if 108 senators have kept mum, and Abdul Ningi single that makes the one owner has come to speak on behalf of Nigerians, I think it deserves heroic ovation. So for me as a realist, because if tomorrow I'm going to vie to become senator or House of Rep or maybe anything, I don't want to vie to drive those kind of 100 and something bulletproof vehicles that I will be enjoying or other people will not be enjoying. This step Abdul Ningi has taken, he has taken it to address certain imbalance in the country, in the polity, and in the budgetary allocation. Your area, for instance, if this budget padding is allowed to go. It means certain hospitals that are supposed to be built in will not be built. It will be taken to certain person's area just because that person is a principal officer or is privileged to be Senate President, Deputy Senate President, or Minority Whip or Chief Whip, or also, which ought not to be. There has to be that equality. That is why we have federal character representation. So if you are supposed to have one college of education is supposed to have, and you, because of your being a principal officer, you end up having 3, 10, is obsolete and is wrong. So I think what Abdul Nengi has done now, he has set a pace that will stand the test of time. So, and I think we should emulate patriots like him.
Okay, recall a high-ranking senator from the northeast on the national TV has also come out to make to blame Abdul Nengi for coming out. He said something that Abdul Nengi is taking it towards ethnicity. That he is saying that something favors more of the south than the north. That he's trying to make more noise about what is not existing. That what happened there follow due process and all that. The way that other senators, majority of them are against the man in the eye of the storm, Abdul Nengi. Do you think they are not right?
Well, I don't think they are right because this is Nigeria. This is not America. We know what they call abracadabra system. Push me, I go. And the senator that came to say it is Senator Bamidele Ogbeyemi, who himself was once time a reps member before destiny beckoned on him to, become a senator. You see, people forget easily. This was a man that during one of the elections was shot in Ekiti State, God spared his life for a purpose. Today, he's a principal officer in the Senate. He has forgotten. Psychophancy is bane for development in Nigeria. I wrote it when I was with Latif Jakande of Blessed Memories newspaper, Daily News, as the bureau chief here in Abuja, where it was when Goje was Minister of State for Power, and his governor made sure he was removed because of certain achievements he was making. Why I captioned that, feature, psychophancy, bane for development. This is what is outrightly and rightly playing out now. If somebody knows everything can go for him, he or she does not care that he is a senator as of right, he will be psychophantic to anything. As a senator, you have your independence because, one, you have your quarterly payment, you have your salary, your constituency project money is approved, the ministries, we ensure they do it. All you need to do is to go and show where it is to be done, because the order has changed. They no longer give them the money for execution of constituency projects. It's the ministries that now does it. If it is agreement, it's agreement. If it is work related, if it is health and others. So the only thing you as a senator, as of right, you point where you think you as the representative to go and show where it is done. So I think if people like Bamidele Ogbeyemi are making this what have you, it is very, very wrong. Abdul Nengi, by civil society coming to say it's right, and Nigerians coming to say it's right, is right. We are not going by whatever they are saying as senators, because they are senators enjoying air condition, 160 million bulletproof cars, enjoying foreign trips, presidential flights, going to see the president and having dinner and what have you. We don't take their issues serious as that of ordinary Nigerians that have come out to say the step Senator Abdul Nengi has taken is right, because it's in the interest of generality of Nigerians, devoid of sentiment saying whether this is southern, this is northern, not at all. The issues at the hierarchy, elitist level, they don't know anything that is called south, north, and what have you. The only class that you see discussing ethnicity, tribalism is lower class that don't have much enlightenment. But when it comes to issue of this level, of the elitist level, they don't care. When they are allocating oil blocks to themselves, they don't care whether you are Christian or Muslims. When they are allocating projects, they don't care. They are all together. So for him to say Abdul Nengi is being sentimental, I disagree, and I believe other Nigerians that are not in this studio are also going to disagree.
Okay, viewers, we are talking about issues in the news on Nigeria, on 9 News Nigeria, and we've been talking with a very respected public affairs analyst in the person of Comrade SALIHU DANTATA, who is also the Secretary General of Arewa Youth for Peace and Security. We've been talking about the budget padding that has been making the rounds all around Nigeria, and people are talking about it. But we'll be right back to talk about insecurity in Nigeria, which way to go. viewers, welcome back. Remember, you're still in the issues in the news on 9 News Nigeria, where we have been talking about the budget padding, and we now want to talk about the insecurity. And like I told you, I have a guest in the house who we've been talking, and he's been so wonderful talking about this issue. And now let's once again remind you that we have Comrade SALIHU DANTATA Mahmoud in the house. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Otanda.
Sir, Nigerians are concerned. Nobody knows the next person. I'm talking about insecurity, kidnappings, criminality, a lot of things, terrorism happening in Nigeria. The question now is, it's as if in every administration there will be this kidnap of school children. In every administration since the time of Goodluck Jonathan, even up to this present time of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we've seen it. And Nigerians, parents are worried. The education sector is concerned. Everything, because we're talking about growth and development. Just the other day, 287 school children were kidnapped in Kaduna State. Sir, how come we have come to this low level of, because Nigeria prides itself as a giant of Africa?
Well, let me tell you, negligence and conspiracy are responsible.
How do you mean, sir?
Yes, because I can vividly tell you 3 years ago, the records are there in other TV stations where we had warned the government, particularly the security agencies, to take proactive intelligence gathering, because the fleeing ISWAP, ISIS from Maiduguri and other parts of failed states like Libya could come and join the bandits in Zamfara, Katsina, and other states. And before the expiration of the 3 years, we, premoned this. We had premonition. It started happening in Niger. It started happening in Niger, Kogi, and other parts of the country. I will give you an instance now. You have localities in Nigeria. By constitutional provision, you are supposed to have a localized outpost of the police. If it is headquarters of a local government, it's supposed to be divisional police headquarters. If it's that large, you have area command. To an extension, you have military cantonments, Air Force base. If it's riverine areas, you have naval base. Then also establishments of the DSS and security and civil defense. Unfortunately, in that kind of Kajuri, where these bandits came in their hundreds and kidnapped school children, outside the vigilante, no full-fledged outpost of police that had up to 10 AK-47 there. Then where are all the monies being spent on security going? Then the most shameful part of it is that in Kaduna State, you have presence of Air Force training ground, one mechanized division of Nigerian Army, you have Dalet Barracks, you have Kalapazim Barracks, you have Police College, you have Nigerian Defense Academy, then you have Armed Forces Command and Staff College, you have Infantry School Jaji, you have Naval Arms Training School Kachia, and host of others. You also have the Defense Industries Corporation where you manufacture arms.
Then what is wrong?
Then that kind of thing is happening. That is to tell you there is negligence and conspiracy. There are some bad crops in the security services that also aids and abets these bandits and insurgents. Then don't forget, these are not just mere bandits now. They now have a union. That is where there is site of Julius Baja when you are going to Kaduna now. Those mountains at the back of that Julius Baja site, all these bandits are stationed there. If any of the security agency quote me wrong, let them go for surveillance and see. They are right there behind that Julius Baja camp. Those mountains, they are all there. They now have come together, the ISWAP, the ISIS, the bandits from Zamfara and others, they are all there, tormenting. Except if there is establishment of mobile police squadrons, counter-terrorism squadrons, and establishment of cantonments of either artillery, infantry, or armor of the Nigerian Army. Then there should be field base of Air Force where they can always carry air onslaught and raids in the night with visibility. Then this drone, they have procure. This is the time. If drone can be mistakenly used in the place that Muslim faithfuls were holding Maulud celebration in Tudunbiri, then why can't that drone be mistakenly also used to kill these bandits and other things? So at this time, the Army, Air Force, Police, DSS, and Civil Defense need to come together and form that joint task force, just the way they did in northeastern part of the country, Borno State to be precise, to fight these combined insurgents and bandits in Kaduna and other parts of the country.
But you also agree with me that the defense headquarters always, issue what we call a bi-weekly report of how the troops, there's a language they use, is it eliminate, or there's what the language they use, they kill them bi-weekly. I think you're aware of the fact that
the defense spokesperson normally,
air troops and all that.
Yes.
What would you say about that?
You see, one of the problems the security agencies also have, they have shortage of manpower, I must confess. Okay. These bandits and their ISWAP as well as ISIS collaborators come in their hundreds with anti-aircraft missiles, magazines by their chests, AK-49, not even 47, and rocket-propelled grenade, RPG. Where did they get it? There are also foreign sponsors. So the intelligence gathered from the security agencies have shown all that. So why can't the Army, Police, Navy, Air Force, Civil Defense, and DSS also recruit in mass? If these security agencies are recruiting, you shed tears. Able-bodied young men will be screened out that they are not qualified. Why? In a situation during the Biafran Civil War, the Nigerian Army had casuals being recruited, given 3 weeks training. Let the Army and the police as well as other security agencies take that. You don't have time spending to train people 9 months. No, reduce it to 6 months. Emergency training. Push them into those bushes. They will get them. Okay, now you have shortage of manpower. They are wasting time to train for 9 months in depot. These people that are non-state actors are trained just 3 weeks. And look at the havoc they are wrecking. So let there be mass. We have the tax we are getting. Custom is raising revenue, inland revenue service, petroleum tax, internal revenue, and what have you. Let recruitment be massive.
In line with what you just said, I think I could remember many years ago when I was to go for because I applied for a Nigerian immigration officer when they advertised same in Port Harcourt. So during the screening exercise, so they measured me. They said, no, I don't have the height to become an officer of the Nigerian immigration and all that. So a lot of things. Then in that same place, I saw some people that I'm even taller than that are officers in the immigration and all that. Then I begin to ask questions: what is really happening and all that?
Godfatherism
and all that. Say, yeah. So a lot of money have been pumped in, and government is still pumping in money into the security sector and all that. I think people are supposed to be seeing a reduction in the menace or in the spate of insecurity in the country. But what we keep seeing is increasing security situations. Okay, look at the other day in Enugu, a report came out, in Kogi State, report came out that a lawyer that went to, pay ransom for his brother that was kidnapped, as he was coming back or coming out from the bush, he was mistaken, to be an armed robber, and he was shot dead by the police. Of course, police have admitted that it was a case of mistaken identity and all that. So, despite all the money being pumped in this sector, insecurity still, ravages the country and all that. Should we stop pumping money into security, or how do we unbundle or bring about change in our security sector?
Let there be accountability. Because as far as I'm concerned, most of this money is being expanded on procurement of armaments to Kano, drones, and what have you. They go government by government procurement, where you don't even advertise that we need so defense companies across the world to come and bid. It doesn't go through anything, MTB, Ministerial Tax Board, Tender Board, sorry. So it is high time, we're in democracy. Any weapons that will be procured or if it is to be locally manufactured by Defense Industries Corporation, let us know how much was budgeted for it. Because before the appropriation is made, it goes through the, what have you, in the lower chamber and upper chamber. They have committees in both the two chambers of the National Assembly where they have their subcommittees. There is subcommittee defense, Army, Navy, Air Force, then the full-fledged committee on defense. So including those of the police and what have you. So lack of accountability is creating these problems where they will say the president and commander-in-chief, the minister of defense, national security advisor, they have spoken to another country. Don't forget, during Muhammadu Buhari administration, even country like Jordan gave us fighter jets free of charge. Where are those jets? Are they being used and what have you? Even where some of the Air Force pilot officers were taken to Jordan to be trained and also other things. So let there be accountability so that we know. Because security makes development to strive. America today is respected because they believe in security. So when there's accountability, we'll be able to do what is right, when and how.
Okay, let's talk about the issue of the presidency. The presidency, I think, and a lot of Nigerians will agree that the most informed person in Nigeria today is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When we talk about information, he gets all the information even more than any other, Nigerian, because he's the -- citizen and all that. So, and quoting a former minister of FCT who said that if insecurity continues or criminality continues in the next 48 hours and the government does not do anything about it, that means the government knows about it and all that. That is, if insecurity happens and the government, it goes along for 48 hours, the government knows about it. And he's talking from the position of authority and all that. Does it mean that the presidency, as it were, the NSAs, as it were, the top security hierarchies, they don't know about these things? Because there is need to end what is happening in the country. Children are suffering. They are the soft targets. The women are suffering. They are the ones that get the rape. They are the ones that get all this, the backlash and all that. Of course, it gets to the fathers also, because they are the one sourcing for this fund to pay ransom and all that. And the government is telling you, don't pay any ransom. Yet, they kill their victims and all that. Is it that the government does not know about the information when it comes to terrorism and all that, to end it once and for all?
Well, as regards if insecurity persists beyond 48 hours, it was not by former FCT ministers, it was by late head of state and commander-in-chief, General Sani Abacha.
Okay.
It was General Sani Abacha that said it.
No,
he borrowed it.
Okay, he borrowed it.
The originator, the author of that statement is our one and only.
He copied it.
General Sani Abacha. El-Rufai is not a security expert. El-Rufai borrowed. It was General Sani Abacha. With blessed memory. Honor is given to whom it is due. We cannot say that totally government does not sometimes, especially the security agencies, entangled and entrusted with such responsibilities. But again, mind you, it is of recent that we are beginning to have cooperation and synergy. They've been having lacking synergy, where intelligence gathered by DSS is not shared maybe to police. That gathered by police is not shared to DMI, Director of Military Intelligence. The one gathered by DMI is not shared to Director of Naval Intelligence. The one gathered by Director of Naval Intelligence is not shared to Director of Air Intelligence, and other ones, which was wrong. But today, I believe they are all working together because there is a common coordination office under the National Security Advisor's office where every intelligence gathered is censored. So if DSS gathered, they gives to the Army. If it is the DMI that gathers, they all meet, the intelligence chiefs from Defense Intelligence Agency, DMI, DNI, DSS, NIA, Police Force Intelligence, and also of others, they meet and deliberate on it. But the issue also is, are the intelligence being gathered accordingly? Because I will give you examples now. There is a place called Kemanji in Kayama local government, Kwara North, Kwara State. There is a place there where bandits are having free day, where if they kidnap people, you have to take 13 million and other amounts to go and get them. And that is exit point from Kwara State to Benin Republic. So if there are that exit and entry point, that kind of thing is happening, it means, and there is presence of DSS in that Kayama local government, there are military people there, police and others. So it means the intelligence is not being gathered. the way it's supposed to be gathered. They are only concentrating in state capitals and federal capital territory, which ought not to be. Most of these porous areas, do we have presence of intelligence gathering officers there? No. We are there to be. This abduction of 287 in Kajuri wouldn't have been there. Then again, 1 week after, it was 61 people were also abducted in a town called Buda in Chikun local government area of the same Kaduna state, which ought not to be. So I think the federal government need to spread more of intelligence officers and personnel to nook and crannies of this country, outside the establishment of standard police outposts or divisional headquarters or military cantonments or Air Force base. Because if these establishments are there, before you call for enforcement, these ones that are there will be able to tackle these bandits and insurgents. But in a situation where people become helpless, they must have free day. God forbid, even in Abuja here now, if there is abduction in Abaji and Kuje, what is the man-force of the police in Kuje? What's the man-force of the police in Abaji?
So what's your recommendation?
My recommendation is that they should establish more formations of the police, army, Air Force, in riverine areas, Navy, DSS and others, so that if you have those routine of officers, they will be able to give that immediate defense and attack before you make reinforcement from the headquarters.
So what does Nigeria need now as a nation? What does Nigeria need now to end this insecurity and the economic situations that is ongoing right now? And what is the number one priority that Nigeria needs now to end it?
The number one priority is to embrace intelligence gathering, spread the networks. Then this is the time we need to build and establish more formations of the security in rural areas, in local government headquarters and what have you. How many police squadrons, mobile police squadrons are there in certain local areas? None. Counter-terrorism unit? None. Special forces? None. Special tactical force? No. Intelligence response team? None. Same way applies to cantonments. Like these border areas I'm telling you now, in Jibia, in Oron, in Gamborungala in Borno, in Gembu, where you have borders with Cameroon, you have borders with Niger, in Jibia, you have with Chad, with Kwara, with Niger. How many of these squadrons are there? The police, it is shameful that internal security lies in the hand of police. With all the specialized squads, I will mention them categorically without outer affair. Police has police mobile force. They have counter-terrorism unit with Red Beret. They have special forces with overall. They have special tactical squad in Guzape. They have intelligence response team. They have IG monitoring. They have police special intervention fund recently set up by Kayode Egbetokun, SIS, and host of others. What are they doing? Are they present in these porous areas? They only go and come back. That is not why they have been established. They should be stationed there. It is only in urban areas you see mobile police and what have you, except where you have their squadrons and their training schools like Ila Oragun, Goza and others. How many squadrons of the mobile police do you have in these rural areas? You only have some conventional police, few. Their training is only civil. The ones that are rugged are not there.
Nigerian police is one of the best in the world.
When they go for foreign operations, they are the best. But internally, we have not been seeing the performance up to expectation. Yes, because
but you have pointed it out that lack of manpower,
resources, and poor welfare. Because particularly the rank and file and other ranks, they have nothing. Take-home packages, nothing to be compared to.
Okay, before we wrap it for the day, we're talking about ransom payment and all that. A very disturbing news came the other day that the ransom payment for these school children, 287, is 40 trillion and some other HELOCs and all that things. Nigerians are 40 trillion. Even Nigerian budget has not even got up to that. Do you think they are sarcastic in their demand, or you think, and they have even given 20 days that if nothing happens, God forbid, they will do something stupid.
They've reduced it to 1 billion now.
Okay, they've reduced, yeah,
to 1
okay,
billion.
Okay.
That is why do you know that they are not alone. Michael Jackson's song, they are not alone. They have their conspirators and collaborators, foreign and domestic. Even among the unscrupulous elements, you have them. There are some unscrupulous elements in the security services who are unpatriotic. They are among them.
Fifth columnist.
Some of them are even the ones that tell them, go and do at this time. So will be. Even with the routine patrol, but it seems not to be working. So I think intelligence gathering should be enhanced, then air patrol should be enhanced, then also foot patrol, then forest patrols should also be enhanced. That is the time infantry of the Nigerian army need to work, because we have them. That is where best crops like General Abacha come from, infantry.
Under the leadership of the FCC Commissioner of Police, Bennett Igwe, do you think that security has reduced?
No. Mr. Bennett Igwe has always been my man. Look at the action he took. He went, look at the nook and crannies of Buhari, Mpape, other areas. We are now enjoying peace. But I also want to call on my very good brother, whom I know right from when he was CSP, when he was in charge of Special Anti-Robbery Squad in Gozape. That's the time I know Mr. Igwe. Mr. Igwe, every evening 8 o'clock, Central Mosque, that route, they normally snatch back 7, 8. It happened even yesterday. They snatched a beautiful lady's handset and money. A day before then, they did it. A day before then, around Obasanjo House, a director in presidency, he was by traffic. The boy told him, your boot is open. All for him, before he looked at what have you, he took his phone and he was having presentation the next day. In fact, I gave him number of the special anti-violence in Gozape, the DSS and others. So all these areas in federal capital where you even have president, members of the diplomatic committee and what have you, if you are not careful, you are walking by this national mosque to Tofa House, to Central area, to Obasanjo House, to Zone 4 Bridge and others, you are on your own. They will come from the bush. I think the advice is that let environmental go and cut those plantations under those bridges at the back of Sheraton by Zone 4 Bridge and others, because those boys are there. They're also by Gariki Hospital too. You have performed. He's a gallant officer, and I believe as Commissioner of Police we achieve more. But these are also some intels I'm trying to give him.
Well, enough has been said, and thank you, comrades, for this wonderful time with you. And I want to also commend you that each time we invite you to be part of this, you always give your best. Thank you, and Nigerians.
Thank you very much.
Well, viewers, that is how it has been on Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. Please don't forget to to go to our social media handles, just like our pages and also drop your comments so that you'll be part of what is happening in our nation. Thank you once again for joining us. My name is Nna Douglas. Join us same time, same station for these Issues in the News.